Well, heavy rains in parts of Asia are causing casualties and mass evacuations. In the Indian city of Mumbai, at least 9 people died when a building collapsed. 17 people were already reportedly killed in floods in Assam state in northeastern India, and about 50,000 people have been evacuated in the south and east of the country. Flooding triggering heavy rain is also hitting parts of China. More than 60,000 people in Tibet were affected. And there are more weather woes on the horizon for China. Our Allison Chinchar joins us now at our desk, which is good to see. Now, China, this typhoon expected to make landfall there in the coming days.
Yes, likely between Monday and Tuesday, when we can kind of pinpoint the timing. But they'll likely start to see some impacts, even some of those earlier rain bands, even as early as, say, late Sunday into early Monday. So, again, something we'll have to keep an eye on. But it's the Philippines right now that are really starting to see the big impact of that particular storm. So let's kind of take a closer look at what we have going on here. And you can see Typhoon Nida, again, right now winds about 120 kilometers per hour, just now finally starting to cross over onto the western edge of the island of Luzon. It's moving west-northwest about 24 kilometers per hour. Take a look at some of the rainfall amounts that have already fallen in the Philippines, and keep in mind it's still raining in many locations. Already at least a dozen picking up over 100 millimeters of rain, several at least 200 millimeters of rain. Now, the track will again continue to take it all the way up towards China. Likely landfall will be between 24 and 36 hours from now, making its way towards Hong Kong. Now, the good news is it does weaken once it finally makes landfall, and it will do so quickly. But again, the concern is going to be the wave heights and also the torrential rain that will end up coming out of this. Here's a look at that forecast radar. Again, notice it looks like it will slide ever so slightly to the west of downtown Hong Kong. Now, here's a look at the forecast accumulations, and even though the landfall may be a little bit off, certainly all of Hong Kong is going to pick up very heavy rain, anywhere from 100 to 250 millimeters of rain, and likely some more as we go through the days after it. But even the Philippines, again, note there's still going to be some very heavy rainfall that lands in the Philippines before the system finally makes its way out. Forecast wave heights, we will pick up some pretty significant ones on the southern edge of Taiwan and then gradually over towards China. We're talking some of these wave heights 9 to 12 meters in height during the peak of the storm. So again, keep that in mind. Here we can see once it finally makes landfall, they do subside rather quickly, and that is some good news. We're also keeping an eye on that storm that hit Baltimore, Maryland, just outside the city in the United States. Take a look at this, all of the water that is surrounding a lot of these cars. Many streets turned into raging rivers. You literally had cars playing bumper cars, bumping into one another, flowing down some of these streets, and also some structures were damaged from the incredibly heavy flow of the water into this area. Now, we take a look at how much rain they had in the last 48 hours. Now, you see the numbers, likely between 100 to 150 millimeters. But keep in mind, for some of these areas, they picked up all of that rain in 6 hours or less. Again, imagine 150 millimeters of rain in just 6 hours. It makes sense as to why they had so many flooding problems. But the other issue is going forward, because another system is going to make its way towards that area again today. And not just for Washington, D.C., we're also talking New York City as well, where they have some flash flood watches out in effect. Here's a look at the system. Again, target, again, this afternoon and into the evening hours, yet again going to be dealing with that next round. And that's the last thing they need to see, Linda.